All right, we're starting the 6 p.m. bulletin with some breaking news where Pakistan has provoked India once again. Pak Army Chief visited line of control near Haji in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and raised the Kashmir bogey once again. General Bajwa has termed the unrest in Kashmir as state-sponsored terror. He also raised the bogey of self-determination and accused India of committing what they call atrocities in Kashmir. I'm joined by India Today's executive editor Gaurav Sawant and Kaswar Klasra, who's reporting from Pakistan. First, if I may come to you, Kaswar, can you please give us more details about this provocative statement by Pakistani Army Chief?
Well, you have rightly pointed out that Pakistan's Army Chief has visited, the Haji sector across Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, and as you have rightly pointed out, he has made a strong statement that what I can tell you at the moment is he referred to the state terrorism by the Indian and Pakistan-occupied Indian-occupied Kashmir, and also asked his Jawan to get ready to take the bull by the horns. This is what we are getting from the ISPR statement, and it was really strong statement that we have seen since the General Bajwa has taken over as Army Chief of Pakistan Army.
All right, I'm also joined by India Today's executive editor Gaurav Sawant. Gaurav, once again a provocative statement, and one needs to know why now. I mean, anyway, Pakistan doesn't have any justification for what's happening in Balochistan. Anyway, doesn't have any justification for the terror that it's flushing into India. And to cover it all, it is now raising the Kashmir bogey all over again.
Archana, at this point of time, Pakistan is in internal turmoil. The civilian leadership and the military leadership are at loggerheads, and the Pakistan army is facing tremendous criticism for overruling a civilian government, and that too an officer of the rank of Major General overruling a notification issued by Pakistan government led by Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. So just to deflect pressure from what's happening within Pakistan, Pakistan has once again raised the Kashmir bogey. They've tried it many times in the past. They thought that the Pakistan army thought that they'll get support of the masses, but even within Pakistan, a large section of the civil society has hit out not just at General Bajwa, but also at General Asif Ghafoor, the spokesperson, saying that he needs to be sacked for disobeying a civilian government. And Pakistan is in the eye of an international storm for a military government overruling a civilian establishment. So Kashmir is their convenient ploy each time. But this time, what is also unfortunate is the fact that Haji, a pass that Pakistan lost in every war from 48 to 65 to 71, is an area that Pakistan uses to push in infiltrators. There is the Mujahid battalion headquarters in that area, and that is where Pakistan is pushing in more infiltrators from.
All right, I'm also joined by BJP's Ajay Bharti for more on this. Mr. Bharti, what does the government make of this statement? A very hard-hitting, in fact, provocative statement coming in from Pakistan when, as Gaurav was rightly pointing it out, when the situation in Pakistan itself is really, it should concern them first rather than what's happening in Kashmir.
I suppose if to call it as hard-hitting is not correct, because it is under frustration that they are saying it. In fact, Mr. Bajwa must remember that first he needs to look about his own community from which he belongs. That if he has been able to save them, he must talk about them. He must talk about the people in Balochistan. He must talk about in the Gilgit-Baltistan people. So then he has any right, if he first talks about those, then he can talk about the people in Kashmir. And those who are trying to protest, or those whatever human rights are being violated in Kashmir, are the people being sent by Mr. Bajwa and his army. So it is only to divert his attention from the internal problems of the Pakistan and the communal strife there, the caste fault line is there. It is to divert there, and as has been rightly said, that the pressure is from people of Pakistan for disobeying civilian government. It is in order to divert attention from them that they are using Kashmir and Sulai. We must remember that people of Kashmir and Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India and is going to remain so, no matter how much hard they may try to disturb the people and their and try to force them to come to the situation. But it's a temporary phenomenon, and the people of Kashmir have joined India by their sweet will, and because they believe in the principles on which Indian Constitution and India stand.
All right. Mr. Bharti, what do you think India's response should be to these bizarre statements that keep coming up time to time? Because on the one hand, whenever anything happens, the Nawaz Sharif government is quick to say that we want a peaceful neighborhood, we do not want tensions. And despite such comments, then we see a hypocrisy playing out in the open, and then we see statements like these.
I suppose as a mature democracy, we must ignore these frustrated elements and their statements. We must concentrate on the ground situation in the Kashmir and eliminate all those terrorists coming from across the border and their henchmen and their stooges and their overground workers of terrorist sympathizers in the Kashmir. We must focus on that, and we must plainly ignore them and must not respond, because we are a mature democracy. People across the world recognize us as mature people. We are a millennia-year-old civilization, and these statements must not disturb India or Indian government.
All right, I'm also joined by Pakistani defense expert Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, who's joining live from Pakistan. And we also have executive editor Gaurav Sawant, who was telling how Pakistan is trying to cover up that internal turmoil that is exploding right now in Pakistan, and to cover it all, it is now raising the Kashmir bogey again. Over to you, Gaurav.
Colonel Saeed, if I may, what makes you think what's the immediate provocation for a statement like this from the Pakistan Army Chief, sir?
I think Army Chief, once he goes and visits his men, he needs to speak like that, and don't expect that he would be speaking something which would be music to your ears. There the armies are confronting eyeball to eyeball, and I don't think I can't imagine what do you expect of a COS telling troops there at LoC that don't expect them hearing their chief telling them that bend down, sit down, get back. No, he would be saying things like that. And he would be trying to realize them their responsibility. And it should not be provocative. I don't know why should you take it provocative.
You're in India's internal affairs. I mean, he's talking to the Pakistan Army. Why talk about the situation in Kashmir? General Bajwa often said that Pakistan's terrorist internal troubles are their mainstay. So why focus on Kashmir, even though he may be at the LC?
Gaurav, it is not, we don't look at Kashmir the way you look at Kashmir. To us, Kashmir is a disputed territory, and we don't recognize it as internal part of India, integral part of India or internal affair of India. It is a bilateral issue by our mutual agreements, and according to UN, it is a disputed territory. So, whatever Army Chief said, I don't think it should be provocative or it should take your hype. And
what you're saying is it's only for domestic consumption and should be ignored. But do you think the Pakistan Army Chief is trying to divert attention from the internal trouble, considering a major general in the Pakistan Army announces orders overruling Pakistan's Prime Minister?
Gaurav, again, I am saying that please look at it from in a wholesome manner. He is a spokesman of Pakistan Army. He is not a major general speaking on his dining table in his own capacity, in his drawing room or in his own office to his subordinates. No, he is Director General Inter-Services Public Relations. And the statement that he is making is
Prime Minister, the Pakistan Army, Colonel, don't you find it strange that the Pakistan Army is overruling an elected government, overruling the notification issued by a government, the army overruling government? Isn't that bizarre for a democracy, sir?
Gaurav, I am not a journalist like you. I can't use words like you. But what I want to tell you is that how come, what do you mean by overruling? Did army announce another punishment, or it only said that army does not agree and it rejects this notification? And this notification was issued by a staff officer of the Prime Minister, and the DG ISPR did not give another ruling that he overruled. He said that army stand on this is that this is not enough, and it is not according to para 18 of the report, and it should be according to the recommendation of the report. Let the thing come out, it will mature. And please don't expect a DG speaking at his own. He is a spokesman of Armed Forces of Pakistan.
We appreciate your point, but for a democracy like India, we find it really bizarre. We don't expect, or we can't even imagine the Indian Army spokesperson overruling a notification that is issued from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's office. Archana, perhaps that's the difference between a genuine democracy that India is and a sham democracy that Pakistan pretends to be.
That's right, Gaurav, and I'm also joined by retired Major General PK Sehgal on this controversy. Sir, what is your take on Pakistan Army Chief statement? And once again, like we've been saying on the show, that once again Pakistan is trying to make a statement in the middle of a crisis which is brewing in its own soil, and it's wanting to lecture India on what's happening in Kashmir.
If you're asking this question from General Sehgal, well, I am General Sehgal. This statement by Pakistani Army Chief General Bajwa is most ridiculous. He belongs to a country which has done large-scale massacre of over 100,000 citizens in each of the Pakistani provinces of Balochistan, Sindh, and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. We need no certification from such a man under any circumstances. The entire world knows what Pakistan has been up to. The people of Pakistan occupied Kashmir this morning only said if there is a referendum, they will vote for India because they have got no benefit whatsoever since 1947, having been citizens of that area. And they're fully aware of the fact that their interests are being bartered away by the Pakistani army and the chief to China. If there is any advantage whatsoever of the CPC, it will accrue only to Punjab province and to China. Their properties are being taken away, their land is being taken away, their resources are being taken away, their water resources are being taken away, only for the benefit of the province of Punjab. And they are very much worried that over a period of time they will become slaves within their own country. Like Godar, which has been leased out to China for 40 years, they are very certain that in the years ahead, Pakistan will also hand over Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan area to China, and China will do to them what they've done to Tibet. In other words, large-scale ethnic cleansing and massacre of people in totality. Anybody who raises a finger, the family simply is wiped away. So we need no certification from such a man.
Right. And sir, the most important factor is that time and again, whenever, Pakistan has tried to seek attention on issues like Kashmir, it has been snubbed, and not just by India, but by the global fraternity, be it SAARC, be it any other event. If you take, for instance, whenever Pakistan has tried to raise the Kashmir issue, it has been told in as many clear words that, India and Pakistan, they cannot take this issue to a global this thing. They have to solve it among themselves. And time and again, India and the world have told Pakistan that, Kashmir is an integral part. And why Pakistan time and again raises this issue just to seek attention, or maybe just to cover up what it's doing in the name of terrorism, flushing terrorists on the Indian soil, acting as a terror launch pad, and also trying to cover up what is happening on its own soil right now.
Whatever is happening in Kashmir, on our side, the prime reason for that is the mischief making by Pakistan. Pakistan has been trying to raise up the Kashmir issue every international fora, and in every international fora they've been embarrassed. The UN Secretary General loud and clear, the UN General Assembly loud and clear, the BIMSTEC, the SAARC, the G20. In each and every case, Pakistan stood totally isolated. People told loud and clear that we fed up of your always total crying. This is a bilateral issue. You would sign an agreement with India after the 71 war, resolve it yourself with the Indians. And as far as we concerned, Pakistan continues to play mischief. They've got more than 40 terrorist camps at this point of time in J&K, in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. They've got at least thousands of people in the launch pads. We had to undertake a surgical strike to wipe out some of them. That notwithstanding, they continue to play mischief. And whatever is happening today in Kashmir is at the behest of Pakistan.
Right. So please, Okay, so please stay on with us. I'm also joined by retired Colonel V.N. Thapar, who's a well-known security expert. Sir, what do you have to say? This provocative statement by a Pakistani army chief being made at near Haji Pir in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, saying that it's accused India of committing atrocities in Kashmir, while completely ignoring what not just spreading lies about the Indian army and India, what it's doing in Kashmir. It's completely trying to cover up what it's doing in Balochistan and in India as well.
Well, the remarks of General Bajwa on the LoC, particularly in a sensitive place like Haji Pir, is a declaration of their intent, what they want to do. It has to be seen in light of all that is happening in the valley, that is stone pelting and killing of people who are in the government service, killing of the PDP workers, and also the photographs that these terrorists are now posing for, with quite a lot of daring. So we have to see all this together, which is the announcement by Bajwa of their intent of raising the ante in Kashmir. So that's what I see, that he has shed off his dove image and has come into his true hawkish colors. Now, the other point that I want to make is that it is made with an intent to exploit the lack of understanding between, or the lack of trust between Delhi and Srinagar on the political front. So while this kind of a distrust is taking place, Pakistanis want to exploit this particular opportunity and not allow it to go waste. So therefore, we have to now immediately get onto a proactive grid, and we should not be any longer reactive, but proactive. And we should stop drawing a line between the actions that have been done by the so-called non-state actors and those done by the Pakistani army. As long as they emanate from the Pakistan side of the LoC, we should take it as a hostile action by Pakistan and respond. For heaven's sake, we have to respond immediately. This lack of response is what is encouraging Pakistanis hostile actions and abetting the other negative powers in the valley.
All right, sir, please stay on with us. Pakistan security expert, retired Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed is joining me live from Pakistan. Sir, can you please, explain the timing of this statement? It's not something new. We've heard this from Pakistan a lot of times. But why again? Today, what was the need to make such a statement when especially, the tension is brewing between both the countries? When on the one hand, Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif says that India, we cannot afford to be enemies with our neighbors. We cannot, we have to have peace. And why such statements are being made, sir? And can you please explain the timing of this statement?
I think when a chief visits LoC, he needs to give a statement and he needs to speak to the men, and this is how you take the statement. And I think he also, by this statement, he also mentioned his thoughts on the Kashmir and how he is seeing all this, what is happening in Kashmir. And the correct thing would be to take the see this statement in correct perspective. Why should one think that this is adding to belligerency, or it is adding to fueling the differences between two countries?
So, but how do you expect India to take this in a positive stride when the defense minister is saying that India is committing atrocities in Kashmir? How do you think we'll take it in a right perspective, sir?
I think this is the stand of Pakistan. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif also says the same thing, and everybody in the Pakistan is on the same page as far as whatever is happening in the Kashmir in the present situation. I think it is very alarming. There's a lot of loss of life, and the civil life is disrupted, and people are suffering. And you have even go to an extent of closing down social media and clamping on the access to outer world, and even foreigners are not allowed, foreign media is not allowed. This means the situation is grave. Whatever he said, nothing was a sort of allegation. He just mentioned what is happening there, and he said that this needs to come to an end. That's all.
Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to India Today. And I would like to thank all our guests, Major General retired PK Sehgal, Colonel V.N. Thapar, and BJP's Ajay Bharti for speaking to India.